The average person spends 80% of their day wearing a mask they did not design to please people they do not respect. Everyone is trying to manage an internal chaos they cannot control by attempting to manipulate an external environment that does not care about them. People are not just competing for money or attention, they are fighting for psychological control over one another while pretending to be civilized. This is where two of history's most feared philosophies collide: Stoicism and Machiavellianism. One teaches inner peace, the other teaches strategic power. But beneath the surface, both are obsessed with the exact same thing: absolute dominance over human vulnerability. In the next few minutes, you will understand the exact mechanics of this hidden warfare. You will see why the advice you have been given about morality and success is a deliberate misdirection, and you will discover the precise psychological framework that actually dictates who rules and who serves in the modern hierarchy. The world splits human ambition into two distinct paths. On one side, you have the saint; on the other, the predator. We are told that the saint practices Stoicism, a philosophy of endurance, emotional mastery, and internal peace. Marcus Aurelius writing in his tent by the Danube, telling himself to tolerate the flaws of others. We are told that the predator practices Machiavellianism, a strategy of calculated deception, ruthlessness, and strategic positioning. Niccolò Machiavelli writing in exile, advising princes on how to use fear as a currency. They are presented as polar opposites. One is virtuous, the other is vicious. One looks inward, the other looks outward. But this binary is a lie designed to keep you predictable. When you strip away the academic jargon and the historical romance, you find a disturbing common denominator. Both systems are obsessed with the exact same thing: absolute dominance over human vulnerability. The disturbing part is that the modern world has weaponized both. Consider the corporate executive who remains perfectly calm during a mass layoff. They speak in measured tones, cite long-term sustainability, and express no anger. Is that Stoic emotional mastery, or is it Machiavellian coldness? The truth is, they look exactly the same from the outside. Both philosophies require you to view human emotion not as a sacred experience, but as a variable to be managed, a data point to be neutralized. Most people never realize that the ultimate form of power is not shouting down your enemies, it is becoming completely unreadable to them. Carl Jung once noted that the shadow is everything a person denies about themselves. For the self-proclaimed Stoic, the shadow is their deep, unacknowledged hunger for power. They claim they only want to control themselves, but total self-control makes you terrifyingly potent in an uncontrolled world. Let us look at how this plays out in the daily grind of survival. You enter a meeting room. A colleague takes a passive-aggressive swipe at your competence in front of the team. The standard human reaction is defensive. Your heart rate spikes, your face flushes, you snap back with an insult, or you withdraw in shame. In that exact second, you have surrendered your autonomy. You have allowed another person to program your internal state. The pure Machiavellian sees this reaction as a lever. Machiavelli wrote that men should be either caressed or crushed because they can avenge light offenses but cannot avenge severe ones. The Machiavellian in that room calculates the power dynamic. They do not get angry, they look for the vulnerability that caused the attack. They smile, log the data, and wait for the precise moment when retaliation carries zero risk and maximum yield. Now look at the Stoic response to the same insult. Epictetus taught that if someone speaks ill of you, you should remember that they are merely acting on their own impressions. You do not react. You remain as still as marble statue. To the untrained eye, the Stoic has taken the moral high road. But look closer at the psychological physics of that interaction. By refusing to react, the Stoic completely invalidates the attacker's power. The insult hangs in the air, unreciprocated, turning back upon the person who threw it. The attacker looks childish, desperate, and weak. The Stoic looks monumental, untouchable, and superior. The result is identical. The attacker is neutralized. The hierarchy is re-established. One achieved it through a calculated plan for future destruction. The other achieved it by becoming an emotional vacuum. Both left the room holding the leash. This brings us to the hidden mechanism of modern existence, a psychological law that governs every relationship, every promotion, and every breakup. The person who cares less always holds the power. It's a brutal law, but it is absolute. In sociology, this is known as the principle of least interest. The party least dependent on the continuation of a relationship has the greatest ability to dictate its terms. Machiavelli understood this externally. He advised that it is much safer to be feared than loved, because love is preserved by the link of obligation which men break at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. Fear is dependable because it does not require the other person's permission. Stoicism approaches the same law from the inside out. Seneca advised that we should visualize the loss of everything we love every single day: your career, your status, your partner, your life. If you can accept their destruction before it happens, you become immune to the threat of their removal. If a partner cannot threaten you with abandonment because you are entirely self-contained, they cannot manipulate you. But let us be completely honest with ourselves here. This is where the ego begins to feel uncomfortable. Why are you truly interested in these philosophies? Is it because you desire pure, unadulterated wisdom? Or is it because you are tired of being hurt? Is it because you want a shield against the relentless anxiety of being passed over, ignored, or manipulated by people who are smarter and meaner than you? If this revelation is starting to change how you see people, power, and even yourself, there's more to unpack. Click the subscribe button and stay around, because this channel doesn't deal in surface motivation. It breaks down the patterns most people live inside without ever noticing. Let us look into that mirror for a moment. If you use Stoicism solely as a tool to make yourself numb, you are not practicing philosophy. You are practicing a highly refined form of psychological defense known as emotional detachment. You are using Marcus Aurelius as an intellectual bulletproof vest. You are telling the world, you cannot reject me if I reject the importance of your opinion first. This is where the overlap becomes truly dangerous. Robert Greene, in his analysis of power dynamics, discusses the strategy of playing the perfect courtier. The perfect courtier fits in everywhere, never outshines the master, displays immense self-control, and wins through subtlety rather than force. The modern Stoic is often the ultimate Machiavellian courtier without even knowing it. They become indispensable because they never complain, they work through chaotic management, they tolerate toxic environments, and they internalize all the friction. They believe they are mastering themselves. In reality, they are simply making themselves the most efficient, durable tool for someone else's empire. They have confused submission to fate with submission to a tyrant. And that is the hardest part to swallow. Not the external manipulation, the self-deception that happens when you convince yourself your passivity is actually spiritual strength. There is a fundamental difference in how these two paths handle the currency of truth. The Machiavellian views truth as entirely malleable. It is an instrument. If telling a lie advances the objective, you lie. If telling the truth builds a reputation for honesty that can be exploited later, you tell the truth. The narrative is everything. The Stoic views truth as objective reality. You must see things exactly as they are, stripped of judgment. These two opposing views collapse into the exact same behavioral pattern. To see a human being as a collection of flaws, insecurities, and biological drives is the starting point for both. The Machiavellian looks at a rival and says, he is insecure about his background, so I will praise his intellect to make him blind to my moves. The Stoic looks at the same rival and says, he is insecure about his background, which is why he acts arrogantly. His actions are a result of his ignorance, so I will not allow his ignorance to disturb my peace. In both instances, the rival has been stripped of their mystique. They have been reduced to a mechanism. They are no longer a peer to be engaged with on an equal emotional footing. They are a subject to be analyzed. Nietzsche recognized this tendency in human systems. He argued that the desire for objective truth or internal peace is often just a disguised form of the will to power. When we cannot dominate others physically, we seek to dominate them intellectually or morally by placing ourselves above the conflict. So, which one actually works? To answer that, we must look at the psychological consequence of choosing one over the other over a lifetime. If you choose the path of pure Machiavellianism, your world becomes an increasingly narrow cage of paranoia. Because you view everyone as a chess piece, you must assume that everyone views you as one too. You can never turn the engine off. Every conversation is a calculation. Every gift is a bribe. Every smile is a concealed blade. The implication is clear. You may win the title, you may acquire the wealth, and you may command the room, but you will spend your nights guarding the perimeter of your own mind against enemies you invented by assuming they were just like you. The loneliness of the predator is absolute. If you choose the path of pure, unadulterated Stoicism, the risk is different but equally severe. You risk becoming a ghost in your own life. By constantly diffusing your emotions, by reminding yourself that your desires are preferences and your grief is just a judgment, you flatten the landscape of your existence. You do not just eliminate the valleys of despair, you flatten the peaks of joy. You become a fortress that no one can conquer, but inside that fortress, the streets are completely empty. And maybe that is the real revelation. Not that one philosophy is better than the other, but that they are both escape hatches from the terrifying unpredictability of being human. The ultimate strategy is what the elite truly practice, whether they admit it or not. It is an internal stoicism married to an external awareness that borders on the Machiavellian. They use stoicism to govern their own minds. They ensure that their emotions cannot be hijacked by adversaries, that their clarity cannot be compromised by flattery, and that their resilience cannot be broken by sudden reversals. They cultivate a completely quiet interior. But when they look outward, they do not expect the rest of the world to act like Roman emperors or Greek philosophers. They accept that the world is populated by insecure, highly reactive, status-obsessed primates who are easily manipulated by fear, vanity, and greed. They understand the rules of the court, even if they do not value the prizes of the court. They do not lie out of malice, but they know how to present reality in a way that protects their interests. They do not seek to crush others for pleasure, but they understand how to position themselves so that crushing them becomes an impossibility. Think about your own life right now. Think about the person who has the most leverage over you. Is it a boss, a partner, a family member, a debt? Now ask yourself, are they controlling you because they're smarter than you? Or are they controlling you because they have found the exact boundary where your self-control ends and your emotional desperation begins? They found the crack in your armor where you still care too much about what they think. We seek these frameworks because we want to believe that if we just follow the right rules, we can avoid the pain of chaos. We want to believe that either through supreme virtue or supreme cunning, we can win the game. But the game itself is temporary. Marcus Aurelius died of a pestilence in a cold military camp, his empire already beginning to fracture. Niccolò Machiavelli died in poverty, rejected by the very rulers he tried so desperately to advise. The systems they left behind were not meant to be dogmas. They were survival kits, written by men who were surrounded by betrayal, disease, and shifting loyalties. When you step out of this moment and back into your routine, the theater of warfare will still be there. The passive-aggressive emails will still arrive. The social hierarchies will still demand your submission. The algorithmic feeds will still try to trigger your envy. You can choose to be the victim who reacts to every stimulus, crying out for fairness in a world that does not recognize the concept. You can choose to be the predator who spends their life calculating angles, sleeping with one eye open, terrified of losing a status that matters only to fools. Or you can choose the third option, to look at the chaos with a completely steady gaze, to master the storm inside your own chest so completely that no one can use your own heart as a weapon against you, and then, and only then, to navigate the world with the sharp, unblinking clarity of someone who knows exactly how the traps are set but chooses not to step into them. The highest form of power is not the ability to control others. It is the absolute refusal to let them control you.